Hello everybody. You see why I'm doing a dish right now. But it's time to talk about something. Something that's been a problem for me for a very long time. The equivalency of what some people would call the hiss in real life. That voice. You know? That nagging voice, that gnawing voice that breaks down your will to live, your sanity, your mindset, you want to do anything. Yeah, the hiss is real. We just don't call it the hiss. No, it's had another name for much longer than the idea of the hiss has been around. It's called depression. And I've had it for most of my life. Didn't even realize for the longest time. Since I've become an adult, I've been out on my own, away from all the toxicity in my family. Had time to reflect, to introspect, to realize how fucked my mind has been. And finally, after a bunch of agony, suffering, sadness, finally getting help for it. Finally getting that fix my problem. Something to make it a little bit easier. It's a calm now. Not a quiet. No, not a quiet. Cannot be a quiet. It can't be a quiet because I still have ADHD. And that's always a buzz in the brain. But now, the static, the voice telling me it's not my problem. I can deal with it later. You don't have to deal with it now. All the time. Put it off. Don't do it. Don't worry about it. It's too much of a hassle, you know? Finally gone. Quiet. Gone. Replaced by the buzz of ADHD and the constant stimuli I need there. It's helping me focus right now, to introspect, to have that noise, that buzz, that terrible sound gone. No longer running amok inside my brain. Let's just make you talk. For most of my life, depression has ran it. Preventing me from doing a whole lot of things, preventing me from completing projects. In my entire career on YouTube, I've made over 1,000 videos and only probably published about 10% of those overall. Which is wild when you think about it. How many times I started on a project just to let it fall short because it's depression consuming. Since the beginning of YouTube practically. The early days of YouTube. Way back when the concept of going viral was just barely a thing. The early days when Markiplier first showed up, when PewDiePie was just growing big, all that good stuff. That was a long time ago now. I'm turning 30 this year. In only a few days. A little bit over 20 days at this point. No, a little bit over 10 days actually, as of recording this video. It's been a hum, it's been a buzz, and it's been a problem. I didn't realize how big of a problem it was till I turned 25, I think. I was finally out of the house, finally away from my parents, finally away from all the toxicity and hate in my life. And I finally realized, when I was finally genuinely happy for a bit with my fiance, that I've been depressed my entire life. Noise. I'm not going to cut this out, me running over there to put the stuff away to dry. No, part of this introspection, really. I've wanted to make a lot of content. I've started a lot of content. And I've published very little of it because most of it I felt was never good enough. And the ones that I felt were good enough, I published. And there's an entire playlist on my channel of untitled videos. Videos I literally just put on the channel, had them unlisted, just so that way I wouldn't lose all of that content entirely, even if I never finished it. I didn't want to rob people of the potential content, to be able to figure out what I couldn't figure out. But nobody did. No, those videos are practically got 0 views for all of them. All in a little playlist on the channel, nice, neat, with no real order. And then I tried streaming. I thought, well, if my depression gets me too bad, or if I can't seem to finish any of my YouTube videos, before I knew I had depression, if I had, at least if I streamed, the content's out there live, people can watch it live, people can rewatch it later, and, it's there. And that didn't work either. No, that content didn't seem to get me anywhere, still hasn't gotten me anywhere, even though I enjoy doing it. It's just, it feels like a lot of work for a whole lot of nothing when nobody shows up, when nobody knows who you are, nobody decides to watch you. I think my most accomplished times were when I was playing Ocarina of Time, doing speedrun tricks, practicing them. Met a speedrunner, kind of impressed him a little bit. It's always funny when somebody has a consistent setup to them, but you're just like, I think I can do it faster and still be just as reliable. And although I'm no speedrunner myself, there's something about the breaking the game, in essence, or finding little things that really just is fun. It brings me a little bit of joy, even when I was depressed. Just seeing how developers develop the game in essence and miss minor little things here, there, and everywhere. I wanted to be a video game developer at one point too. Way back when I was still young, unaware of how bad my depression was, unaware of how much work and how much struggle it would be. I learned to code. Got that far. I never really made anything. The only time I made anything was on a camp for coding, for video gaming. Using a pre-made engine and a little bit of coding. I did some funky stuff. We were only supposed to make a 2D or a 3D game. I didn't want to do either. I wanted to do both. I wanted to combine the two portions, you know? Like a world map and then... Well, it was a 2D and a platformer. Like a 2D top-down and a platformer. And I wanted to do both. I wanted to have a maze that led into a 2D platformer segment. You know, like little battle kind of deal. And that, it was left unfinished. But I did get it to work. Just barely. Just enough to pass the course. Even if it was a little bit janky. The character model, when it swaps between the 2D top-down and the 2D side-scroller bit, it was super jank. Super duper jank. Now I gotta wait for those dishes to dry before I can continue. But, yeah, no, it was super duper jank. And that's alright. You know, sometimes things can be jank. Just, you know, part of things. Part of making stuff, you know? And that's the truth. You know, nothing's going to be perfect when you first do anything, and when you're trying something that's completely out of the normal scope of things, things aren't going to be good. They're not going to be perfect. But depression. It's been a constant gnaw. It's been a constant problem. It's been a constant fight with myself. And it was made worse by my father's passing. So, anytime it comes around to that point of the year, my brain just gets way worse, you know? It's not something I have to think about all the time, but it's something that becomes a constant gnaw at that point in time of the year. And it finally got to a breaking point. A point where it was no longer just a minor inhibitance, it was like a major inhibitance. It started to affect my work, it started to affect my natural just enjoyment, my own life. I have so many consoles. I love playing video games. I mean, we just got a Switch 2, which some people may have seen on live streams. But we have an Xbox, we have a Switch 2, we have a PlayStation, we have two Oculuses, so we can play virtual reality games together. I have a Steam Deck, like, we have PC. We got it all, you know? And yet, I want to make content, and I just haven't been able to make content because my brain just has been fighting me. And when I have made content, it's been streams, and streams have gone nowhere and makes me more depressed and makes it harder on me mentally. And all that just slowly builds up over time. Like, I had been able to manage it for a while, you know, do the same thing my dad did, vent it on somebody else. I vented on my father because my father was venting on me, you know. Now he's gone, and I think that's how he felt once I had moved out, you know. I kind of expect him to possibly have depression himself. So, it's likely that's why he died, was because he got depressed, he didn't want to take care of himself, and because he didn't want to take care of himself, he ended up just being stupid and getting pneumonia and dying because of that. Outside of that, he was perfectly healthy. He was in great shape, well better than his age should be, even with COPD. So the fact he got pneumonia and died of that seems kind of anticlimactic. But, yeah. I have been suffering for so long in silence that eventually it came to the point of a breaking point, and not only was it brought up by my boss that I seemed to be getting, just slower and just worse at, just I was doing really well, and then I just started to fall off, and there didn't seem to be any real reason behind it. And I had a mental breakdown one day, and it scared my fiance for my mental state, how badly it was, and so she suggested I should, go seek help. So I finally went and saw help today, and talked about stuff. I'm gonna possibly be getting my ADHD treated, which will help on the focus end of things, and got an antidepressant, and it's definitely helping. It's definitely helping. It's helping me actually be able to get tasks done rather than feel overwhelmed by them. It's helping me make this video. No, you don't understand how much it's helping me make this video right now. If it weren't for them, I would probably be in tears right now when I was talking about my father, because that's how much just emotionally hurt me, Even now I can even feel the tears wanting to well up, but I'm able to manage them to keep focused, because it is a struggle. It will always be a struggle. And it's like it's the real life hiss. It really is. It's the real life hiss. It's a thing that breaks you down inside. It breaks you down mentally. It makes you a different person than what you want to be, what you are. It makes you worse overall. It's just terrible for anybody who's affected by it. Some people fall so deep into it, there's no saving them. It's literally what the hiss is, in essence. I've been diagnosed with heavy depression. So, not super severe, but high enough to be a big problem for me. And yeah, it's just been a struggle. And I'm finally glad that there's something going on. There's some kind of, not cure, but at least something to make the annoying part of it, the voice telling me nothing's good enough and they'll never be good enough, to be quiet, to calm the storm just a little bit. It's no longer a raging typhoon of ADHD and depression. It's just a storm, like a rainstorm. Noisy, a little bit, maybe a thunderstorm. A little noisy, but organized. A little bit of chaotic, but manageable. Not overwhelming. Not crazy. It doesn't mean that it's not still a thing, obviously. It's not like that's cured my ADHD. If anything, it's just allowing me a little bit more control over the focus of it. Be able to direct it, even if it's a loose direction. It's something. And I'm hoping that soon it will be a little bit better. That things will be a little bit better. I'll be able to actually do what I want to do, to be able to focus on what I want to focus on, and get, content actually out there rather than just sitting on a shelf. Over the last several months, we've been working on a Dark Souls series, Granny Samantha, playing through Dark Souls, and it's been fun. It's been fun recording. The first video has been mostly edited, but not boiled down enough. It's not refined enough. It is too loose. still on the aft end of things. Too many deaths, left with too much time on it, making the video way longer than it needs to be. And I'm hoping that that will be boiled down here soon, now that things are getting on the right track with me. I have days off where I could do stuff. I have not really days off. I have days off where I'm not required to be at work, but I still have to take her to work, like today. But it should give me the opportunity to at least try. And with this medication, it'll hopefully prevent me from falling into that spiral of not trying. Like when I want to try on something, I should be able to actually try and get it done. At least partially, at least more so. And once I get my ADHD re-diagnosed, basically, re-set up and figured out, you know. Old ADHD psychiatry diagnoses were not great. And I know I was diagnosed with it, but it has to always be re-diagnosed because somebody could have diagnosed it incorrectly or poorly, and Dr. Quack definitely did that. But, yeah. Real life hiss is finally quiet, and I can finally feel like I can actually do content. Do something, you know? Even if it's not what I really want to do on the primary right now, it's at least a start. I want to do YouTube content. I want to do video game content. I want to do, you know, Let's Play content. I want to do story content. I want to be able to make a difference in the world. I want to be able to bring a little bit of light to people's days. No matter how that is, you know? Whether it be in a YouTube video like this, or in a more direct, more, you know, bringing people smiles. I really wanted to bring people smiles my entire life. I'm a clown. Not quite literally. I'm not an actual clown. I don't go, But no, yeah. To be able to feel more than just blasé all the time. To feel like quiet rather than a blasé. That's the best way to explain it. It's been mostly a feeling of blaséness. Like, it's feeling everything and nothing all at once, you know? It's not an emotion, it's just a sound. And now it's finally no longer a sound. I can feel something other than just meh. I can feel happy. I can feel for longer periods of time at least. I don't feel sad all the time. I don't feel big sad. I could probably feel angry without being sad. I could probably feel sad without being angry. It's something. It really is something. And this is only day one. Hopefully the longer that I take it, and the better it'll be. The more it'll help, and the more I'll be able to actually do. I want to change the world, one smile at a time. And I hope you'll be there with me along the way. But I think that's enough for today. Thanks for watching this video. If you made it to the end, please let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. CYM99 signing off. Peace.